All right, have you ever found yourself stuck in a never-ending cycle of overthinking, unable to decide? You could be suffering from something called analysis paralysis.
Yeah, it can affect anyone, whether you're trying to choose between a job, deciding what to wear, or even picking a restaurant. Analysis paralysis can leave you feeling overwhelmed and indecisive, and that's a bad combination when you're under pressure to make a decision. So Frenchie Ferenczi is a business and leadership advisor. She's here with tips to break free and make a decision. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to chat about this with both of you because we got to dig into this.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What is the root of analysis paralysis?
So I think a lot of people get really scared, right? They wonder, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I mess it up? What's going to happen? What's going to be the result of that? And so I think people freeze because they're like, if I freeze, nothing bad will happen. But we all know that sometimes if we don't make the decision, all kinds of stuff can happen. And so we kind of have to learn how to work around that fear so that we don't get trapped in that cycle.
How do you know if you have this
Good question.
disorder?
Exactly. It's official.
Look at you.
So I think there's some signs. One of the signs that I see a lot with my clients, and I work with a lot of business owners and career-driven folks, is that they find themselves feeling like they are treating small decisions like life-changing decisions. And so, you know, we talked about whether it's changing jobs or an outfit, and it's like we don't want to treat changing an outfit with the same level of importance as changing a job. But sometimes when we get into that spiral where it's hard to make decisions, we get stuck thinking that the small decisions have the same impact and importance as the big ones. That's like the biggest sign I see in people. I'm like, we got to calm it down.
I had a friend years ago who pointed out to me that some of the most successful people wear the same clothes. Steve Jobs, you'll notice it, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, a lot of TV news anchors, and they eat the same thing because those are two decisions that they don't have to worry about, and they can deal with other things.
Yeah, exactly, because they have big, important decisions to make. Why should they spend their time and energy thinking about that?
Is this something that can impact your overall life, though?
Yes. I think it really can, right? One, it can create a lot of stress for people, and we all know stress has a negative impact on people. The second thing that I really like to think about is that we start to lose control. So, small example, let's just say you're choosing between the 3 o'clock train and the 3:08 train. By the time it gets to 3:05, you don't have that choice anymore.
Right.
You don't get to choose a 3 o'clock train anymore. For the trains, probably not a big deal. But when it comes to those bigger and more important decisions, we don't want that decision to get made for us because the train left the station. We want to choose which opportunity we get to jump into.
Right. Don't let the train leave the station.
No. And that's part of the three-step process right there?
So when I think about the three-step process, I'm really thinking about, let's get real about our options. What are the options that we have available? Sometimes we're hoping for a secret option that doesn't exist, which is why we're stuck. Get real about the options. So that's one, get real about your options. Identify what are the trade-offs. What am I saying no to when I say yes to this? What am I saying yes to when I say no to this? So that you're clear about what the risks are and what you might lose. And then from there, and this is the most obvious part and the hardest, you have to commit and you have to be ready to see it through and then adapt and pivot where you need to.
So everyone knows someone who is horrible at making decisions. So how can we help that person in our lives or ourselves?
So first, lead with compassion. We see other people's lives so much better than we see our own. So when someone is stuck, help them. That's the first thing. And I would say using the three-step process when you can have that objective viewpoint on somebody else's life can actually help them find and see possibilities that maybe they couldn't see themselves. And so really take that compassionate, objective view, and you can really help them make a lot more progress rather than being like, hurry up and decide, which is sometimes what we all want to do when we see that person. Get it together, exactly.
So not like shaking them and violently and saying, snap out of it, or are you saying that?
Doesn't always work, sometimes.
All right, Frenchie, thank you so much. Really
Thank you so much for having me.
Today.